But I was torn, like, do I want to be taking care of newborns and changing diapers in my 20s? My 20s? How regular is the sex? Yeah. Hi, YouTube fam. Welcome back to yet another video. I promise to be more consistent with content, so here we go. So today's video is about the Q&A. So I had a Q&A on my IG asking you guys, as I'm doing my life updates, like, what would you like to know? So during that hiatus I took, there's a lot of things happening. So I asked whether you have any questions to do with the conception, the pregnancy, etc. And yeah, I got a few questions, so I'm going to mix up like doing a life update and answering the questions. First question is, how did you know you were ready to be a mom? I didn't know, like, I wasn't like 100% there, as in like I'm 100% knowing, I'm ready to be a mom, I'm going to be a super mom. No. I think it's just like same when I answer about being a wife, like you're only ready to some extent and you can only get prepared to a certain extent, but I don't know whether you can know you're fully ready. Did I know I want to have kids? Yes, I didn't know I was ready at this I didn't know I was ready at that particular point, but I prepared myself because I knew, sooner or later we're gonna have to. So I did prepare myself in terms of consuming content about young families, starting out a family, content about motherhood, content about taking care of a kid and having a positive birth experience and all that, and taking care of your body and your mental health. So in those ways I was preparing to be a mom, because sooner or later, and I thank God I kind of prepared for some of those aspects. Like, I don't think you can be fully prepared, man, even when you're like, hey, we are all in this together. Even some people who are 40 but first time moms, it's still hard, even in the groups that I'm in. So I don't know whether it's a matter of age. Unaweza tu prepare up to a certain point and then leave the rest to God and just just dive right in. Yeah. So the next question, I think, which is related to that, was, did you have a checklist you wanted to achieve before you got pregnant, like living environment, healthcare, insurance? So I think in terms of preparedness, now we could talk about this, because the first thing I would say is you have to be on the same page with your partner. So I remember a time when I felt ready, he wasn't ready, then he felt ready, then I wasn't ready. Like, we kept on switching like that. Then at least ikafika mahali we were both in the same headspace. Were we really okay? I think there's some tea there. So we got married in August 2020, so that's during COVID and the lockdown and all that. And he'd said he'd like us to have like a minimum of 2 years, just the two of us before we get children. Me at that time, I was like, hey, let's eat life with a big spoon. Let's first enjoy. Let's calm down. I was like, maybe in 5 years, but I was torn. Like, do I want to be taking care of newborns and changing diapers in my 20s, or should I just wait till when I'm 30 and more stable? So I remember we had discussed, I think 2 years, yeah. So at the 2 year mark, which is a few days ago, people, a few days ago. So we were to start like imwezi this month. We were to start trying now. So probably we'd have a kid like in our 3rd year of marriage. But ya Mungu ni mengi, ya kuku ni there was a checklist. So one of the things I didn't manage to get off my checklist before I got a baby was going back to school. So I wanted to go back to school and do my postgraduate. So that's something that is still a desire of mine, probably before the next baby. I don't know. But also, what I've learned, so there are things there are things that you can check off your checklist, yeah, but sometimes you inafika mahali you just have to dive in, because life happens, and so for instance, like doing my masters, I feel like having a newborn, okay, it has really been tough and has grounded me for some time, but just in the same way, I'll go back to work and I have to juggle that, and we have to raise the baby regardless and all that. Then I'll also just do my postgraduate. Then, like, if the opportunity comes and the resources come, then I'll just do that. I liked something that I've ever heard from Apondi, which is Kitikeri's mom. She said, never make it seem like, you know, your baby weighed you down or like trapped your life, because even the baby doesn't want that burden, you get. So life has to continue, so I'll continue checking off that checklist, but to some extent, yes, in terms of income and insurance and the living arrangement, we did have like a bare minimum. Okay, how did you manage the first trimester? In my 3rd month, but where? I think there's also okay, let me answer this first. My first trimester was horrible, very horrible, guy. I wasn't, I think one of the things, and I don't know whether other people can relate, was, you know, mild cramping. Interestingly enough, I had mild cramping. Sometimes it would get intense, but I'm going to explain more on that in another question. So that, but yenye iliniweza was the exhaustion. I was so tired, like so tired that I had to explain myself to my employer, like, mi nilikuwa nashindwa. There's a time, like, I sleep 10 hours. Yeah, I sleep 10 hours and I still wake up tired. Like, the first trimester was so exhausting. Then uongeze nausea and food aversions, and many things for me were uncomfortable. So to some extent, like any strenuous activity, I couldn't exercise. So I was very fond of, you know, exercising, hata kama it's doing yoga or whatever. So I couldn't exercise. Even walking too much, I couldn't. Car rides were hell. In my first trimester and in my last trimester, nilikuwa nachukia na vile napenda kuzura. Hated it. So yeah, my first trimester was tough, and going back in time, I should have hired, like I should have hired help at that point. Yeah, if I would do it differently, I should have hired help at that point, like, because but I think you don't know what to expect. So I kept on thinking, okay, maybe too, it's just this week and then it'll get better. See, it didn't get better for like until I got to the second trimester, which is like, was it at 16 weeks? Yeah. But T for tough. That was tough. I think I felt more pregnant at that point than I did when the pregnancy started showing. But then by the time the pregnancy started showing, I was living my best life. When it wasn't showing is when, like, I would have wanted even people to stand for me to sit. Like, it was like that was the tough. So the advice I would give for any mom as you go into the first trimester, and especially as a first-time mom, and you don't know yourself, one, avoid any strenuous activity and just monitor yourself first, probably until your first clinical visit or something, or even the whole first trimester. Like, avoid any strenuous activity because bodies are different, and I'll explain that in another question. Number 2, I'd say get help. That's number 2. Number 3, get a good gyna. I felt like my gyna was very good, especially in communicating certain things to my partner. So yeah, get a good gyna and try to go to the gyna with your partner, because aki inaweza kaa kujifanya, but gosh, so it's good sometimes when it comes coming from a professional, so that they can explain the symptoms and what's going on with you and all that. So there's that. Hire help if you can. Hydrate and eat very well, even despite what you're feeling, and try to take, but there is a lot of and this is the beauty of going to starting clinic early. There are a lot of things that can help with things like nausea, with things like, and especially I think it was better for me because I was working from home, so I would work up until a certain point and be able to rest, and I didn't have the hassle of commuting but if the hassle is serious, there are things you can get for food aversions and things you can get for the vomiting, and there's medicine, there's supplements, and start your supplements mapema. Also, if you're planning to conceive, you can start Pregnacare or whatever supplements before you get pregnant. So it's later that I saw as when you're in that season of trying to conceive, you should start taking Pregnacare and Isoma supplements. Is it 6 months before? So let's say you're planning to conceive in Feb next year, I think, then you should be starting on your supplements right now. I hear it's ideas, so just hang in there. Second trimester, probably things are going to get better once your body is used to it, and also as you start approaching your third trimester and your fourth trimester, which is postpartum, things start getting serious again. So if you can hire help, so maybe you don't have help right now, if you can hire help right now, the better. But towards your third trimester and birth and immediately after, you'll seriously need help. So either get someone, start organizing for someone to come stay with you and help, or hire help for the third and fourth trimester. So that's just to prepare you in advance. So there were 2 questions on conception. One just said conception and the other question said, did you have any problem conceiving after your birth control? How long did it take? What birth control were you on? What birth control was I on? Was Vibes and Inshallah? Pull out Game is Strong. Yeah, for someone who advocates for birth control. Me, okay, I don't know. Nini, your stuff works for, yeah, it works for us. Me, I don't trust these hormone things. Don't work with me, and sidhani I have the patience to go testing them out. There's a time I tried the pill, like everyday pill. It was called Yasmin. Ish, when my period came, I normally have bad cramps, but that was bad. And then the bleeding was heavy with clots, and I was feeling, actually, and this is what I wanted to cover in this question about conception, which even now when I'm looking at the time and the questions, I'm like, I feel like I'll have to do another video on conception and all that, because I did struggle to some extent. I did struggle a bit with conception, and I remember the pain I felt. So this is my second pregnancy, so I lost my first pregnancy, and the pain I felt during miscarriage is the same pain I felt when I was on Yasmin. There's a day I was just feeling really, really bad cramps karibuni and hosi, and I passed a very big clot. It was just so awkward. And hapo ndio nikasema, my hormones are not to be messed with. Yeah, my hormones are not to be messed with. Yeah, so if I would consider birth control, I would probably try the coil, but whatever we're doing right now, sasa nimesema whatever we were doing then worked. Did I have any problems conceiving? So I know this question says, did you have any problem conceiving after your birth control? But I'm just going to answer it. Did you have any problems conceiving? Yes, I did, because we were doing the deed without anything, and I was like, even the slip-ups, I started getting concerned. Like, kwanza there's a time, let's just say we were being reckless. And even when being reckless, hakukuwa na marokeo. I started getting concerned. So I went to the gynecologist. We normally see Dr. Thu of La Femme. Really great guy. Really great clinic. So, yeah, that month that we went, this was in April. I think we went in March. Like end of March 2021. And I remember actually in that visit, so he was, checking whether, and I think we had gone before. So I think we had gone before, akasema, at this point. So apparently when you're trying to conceive, they normally give you an year before they can make any intervention. So you've gone to the gynae January this year. They'll give you a whole year to try. Just have that thing raw. Enjoy the whole year. Now, if the year ends and you've not conceived and you're having regular, they ask you questions. How regular is the sex? Yeah. So if you're having like regular sex, I think they say 3 to 7 times a week. Yeah, for the people with horsepower. Yeah, but yeah, 3 to 7 times a week. I don't know. sijui ka kuna 27, but I think alikuwa anasema 3, mimi nachocha tu. So 3 times a week for the whole year, and you've not conceived, then that's when they start, checking. But remember when we went the second time, I think Aliona, let me just ease these young people's minds. So he decides to do an ultrasound, the intravenous, where they, you see, they up there. So they did they or did they? I can't remember. But all I remember is that they checked. Kwanza that time he was telling me there is a mature ovum. There is a mature ovum about to descend. So you are ripe and fertile. They checked my right ovary, left ovary, the uterus, kwa. So I kind of thought maybe because I've always had painful periods that maybe there was something, but there was nothing. And later that week, when we did the twa, yeah, by the next month, I don't know if it was an anxiety thing. Now when I was told like everything is there, you have an egg that is there, because nilikuwa nimesema sasa kikaa sana, sasa nikupeleka that other person akaangaliwe pia. But it didn't get to that. So they checked they checked and everything was fitty, and we conceived. Now when we conceived, it was very, like, from the moment, like, I think I just knew my period skipped nini. I was feeling pain, and at first I was thinking this way, the way I'm feeling pain, it's my period coming. And the days for the period came and went, and I was still in pain. And for some reason, I remember my sister was misdiagnosed with a missed miscarriage because she also had cramps in her first trimester. So I was like, okay, luckily baby survived. But yeah, I was like, mimi sioni hosi, na venye nimekuanga worried about my fertility. Yeah, I'm going to brave it out. I was like, yeah, some people have like mild cramps when the person is attaching. So yeah, unfortunately, I ended up losing that baby, and I think I'll have a whole conversation about conception and miscarriage and how I was feeling and vitu mingi sana and how I ended up there. But yeah, so I lost that baby. It was diagnosed as a missed miscarriage or a missed abortion, and yeah, it was a horrible time. And I don't think I've ever gotten over that loss, even with another baby. I wasn't prepared. I was so happy I had conceived, even though mi ndo nilianza kukua obsessed na the conception thing more than my partner. It's when I was like, the way you're concerned, like, mbona kwani, no sleep up, nothing, but yeah, when I conceived, I was so happy, one, to know that everything is okay. And yeah, but I ended up losing that baby, I think 2 months in. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff they don't tell you about those procedures. Yeah, fortunately, after losing the baby, in 3 months I had conceived again. And this time, let me tell you, when I just realized I had conceived, I just realized in 1 week I was there with the gyna. You were like this, and he gave me something. So I also started cramping with the second pregnancy, but he gave me something that helped, and the pregnancy stuck. And yeah, Mungu ni mwema. Yes. So about conception and everything, if you have any concerns, or if you have any concerns about, what is it, conception or your first trimester, ukiona tu vitu ziko excess, you just go see your doctor. Just go, hata kama ni kitu petty, especially during pregnancy. Even if you're coughing differently than you coughed before you were pregnant, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. Yes. So that's what I would say on that. Someone said, so I think I'm done with that question. Someone said, motherhood looks good on you. Motherhood looks good on me. Does it? Thank you. You stop. How is postpartum for you? Postpartum was horrible. I was not prepared. I could say the first 2 months, or is it the first 6 weeks? They were bad, sis. They were bad. And I'm one person for getting prepared. So I would say I had a positive pregnancy experience despite the challenges. I had a positive birth experience. Yeah, like I loved my birth experience. Despite the pain, kuna ma story hapo. But postpartum, me, I was just watching cute videos of a day in the life with a newborn. I was just enjoying cute baby videos and just seeing moms looking wow. I was just seeing moms and babies, and I'm like, wow, so awesome. I can't wait for my baby to be here. Now I understand the look of concern I would get from other moms when I would say I can't wait for the baby to get here, especially in the 3rd trimester. Even the nurse tried to manage my expectations, and now I understand. Going back, definitely more help makes the experience more beautiful, and a bit of preparedness. But now I could say now it's better. I'm in my 3rd month now, so it's so much better, and now I'm enjoying. I have a nanny. I think also my partner has become more engaged, so I feel like the burden is getting lighter. Let me just say that. The burden is getting lighter. Also, my baby was quote unquote colicky, gassy, which caught us by surprise. Like, we don't know what that was. We just had a peaceful baby for 2 weeks and then screaming. And that caught us so off guard, like both me and my partner. But slowly, with time, with some remedies, and I think also with the baby growing, things are nice. Like now it's just stories. She barely cries, like crying for normal things, like crying to pick her up or but there was some crying there in some witching hour. Horrible. But now we're good. Did you get an epidural? No. So I was preparing for my preference was I was preparing for a vaginal birth, and I did put in effort into preparing for that, and I did not want to get an epidural. Why? Probably so I think, to get the best shot at a vaginal birth, I think it has something also to do with reducing the medication, like the amount of medication you're under, because now I think with all this medication you start laboring or whatever on a time clock. So even like I had to be what people called induced, but not really induced. I think the doctor corrected us that it's called augmentation, where they insert a pill to help you dilate. So me, I was having contractions. I think they even called prodromal contractions, where they go to the back and everything. I was having contractions, I started contracting, but it wasn't consistent. So I had to be assisted with those two pills to just start, dilating more. And the problem with this is that it reaches a certain point if there is no progress. So I think with the epidural, it's easy for the baby to get distressed. So that's why I didn't opt to get an epidural. Also with the augmentation, I only got it because the doctor said it's necessary. Hopefully for my next pregnancy, things progress naturally. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. Since the doc said it's necessary, it was okay. Yeah, but I would prefer less medication. And I think towards the end now, once I had dilated to about, I think I had reached 9-10 centimeters, I was induced. I don't know. Okay, me, I felt what I was feeling and the contractions I was feeling were enough, but I think towards the end they give you like a boost, and it was a boost. I was just hapo ndio nilikuwa na breathe, unaambiwa remember how we are breathing, just breathe. I don't know, I can't remember. I was just like kulikuwa kubad, but yeah. We thank God. I prefer less medication, so I hope next time I'll actually labor more at home and progress naturally. So I hear it takes longer the first time to progress than the consecutive times. So yeah. You delivered at how many weeks? Honestly, 39, and I am tired. So me, I was tired. Yani by 33, I was tired at 33 weeks, 34, 35, 36. I was tired. So like at 36, 37, I started making sure like I am ready to deliver as soon as possible. So I did answer this question for this person, and I think I'll do a separate video on that, on how I harakishad my body and my labor and whatnot. Man, I was walking, I was squatting, I was eating pineapples, I was doing some yoga poses. I was like, descend, it is time to leave, it is time. I was tired of being pregnant. I wanted that baby out. Then I regretted why I was in such a hurry. Yeah, but I was tired, and I get it, and me, I wouldn't fault you, and I'll still give those tips because I still remember that tiredness. Hakuna mtu anaweza kuambia anything, nakuwa tu umechoka. But I delivered at 38 weeks after forcing the baby to descend for that week 36 and 37. We've come to the end of the questions. So these were such few questions. Sasa, when people have these millions of questions that we ask them, gosh, how do they cover? We've come to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for engaging on my IG and asking these questions. I hope my answers have been satisfactory. If you have any more questions, you can ask, and I'll find a way to add them into the next coming videos. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.